Hi, I'm Luke Chow from the Morpheus Clinic for Hypnosis. Joining me is...
Zandria and
And we're here to bid farewell to 2018 and help you usher in 2019. We figured we would just kind of share our thoughts about the year that has passed and the year that is starting. First of all, Zandria, you only began working here a few months ago. I understand that you had graduated from York with a degree in English and film, and you've been helping us out with these YouTube videos that we're now putting up. Tell us a bit about what you learned the most from your time here.
that hypnosis actually can be quite helpful. What about you?
What I've learned is, one constant in my life is me, and everything and everybody else I cannot take for granted.
The new year is coming up. What would you suggest to people who are looking to make good on their resolutions for the next year?
Well, one thing I've learned this year is that the simpler you can make the rules that you give to yourself, the easier it is to abide by them. So let's say that your rule is let's say that your resolution is to cut back on drinking alcohol. Well, if there's a list of places where you would drink alcohol and a list of places or situations or people around whom you wouldn't drink alcohol, and you have to memorize the list and then think about it before you drink, then that's it's hard to stick to. On the other hand, if you have a rule that you only drink when there's at least 5 other people present, then it's easy to stick to. Even after a couple of drinks, you're still able to stick to that rule. If you have a rule that you only drink on Friday and Saturday nights, that's super easy to stick to. Whereas, like I said, if you have really complicated rules, you end up just thinking too much, and it's just too hard to stick to. When it comes to things like cutting out specific foods, when it comes out to quitting smoking, to make it absolute, to make it black and white with no room for error, put out the fire, leave no embers burning. In that situation, it's just, you've already done your thinking. At New Year's and the rest of the year, you just kind of go back to the decision you made on January 1st.
What is the most common thing that you see people come into the clinic for in the new year?
Smoking smoking cessation is the most common issue that people come in for. It was reported in the news this year that the smoking rate in the United States reached 14% this year, which is amazing. Canada tends to be around the same range, although I don't think there's any specific data that I saw in the news this year. So even though the prevalence of smoking is going down, I have no issue with it. Even if at some point I have no smoking clients because nobody smokes anymore, I'm perfectly okay with that. So, but for now, smoking is the most common issue. Weight loss, as well as overcoming specific fears, I would say, are the most common issues. Other common resolutions are having better relationships, spending more time with family, and a lot of that comes down to the practical aspects of dedicating time in your calendar or time in your day or being more present, not here but in the world out there. What would you say the most surprising thing that you discovered or learned this year would be?
Be realizing, I guess, how much your subconscious can drive different choices that you make, that there is a way to access that. But just even to consider how complex our brains are and how little we actually know about it, it's actually caused me to think just about my own choices and like how they're influenced a lot more in depth.
Well, one of the benefits of being human is that we have something called metacognition, where we can think about our thinking. We're not stuck in whatever thinking, whatever thought patterns, whatever beliefs, whatever emotions that we had from childhood or from birth. In fact, we could think about our thinking, we can think about our reactions, we can think about our feelings, and then by examining our thoughts and feelings, we could then change them.
Did you feel slighted when Inception came out?
I did not feel slighted when Inception came out. Is it just because the whole science fiction meta-reality universe created by the Matrix series was supplanted by a superior film?
Well, I'm thinking more in the sense that Morpheus refers to the dream world, right? The god of dreams.
The
is
god
it
of
not?
dreams, the
Right.
Greek god
Greek
of
god of
dreams.
dreams.
Yeah.
Well, one of the most common misconceptions is that you'll get stuck in hypnosis, and Inception is literally a film about technically getting stuck in your dreams.
Well, the interesting thing is, I mean, there's also, I don't know whether any of our viewers remember this, but there was a series called The Odyssey way back in the 90s, I think, where this kid gets stuck in a coma and there's his physical body in a hospital bed, but inside his inner world he goes on all sorts of adventures. So that is a trope in popular culture, that people can get stuck in dreams, or I guess in hypnosis. It's kind of like how sometimes parents might discourage their kids from daydreaming, like staring into space. I guess because they're afraid they might just get stuck in a fantasy world, but that's not the case. The world out here becomes more interesting after after a hypnosis session. People are capable of turning their attention inward. They're also capable of turning their attention outward, and they actually have most of the say in that matter. So yeah, the idea of getting stuck in hypnosis is just like the idea of getting stuck in a daydream. It just doesn't happen. Have any New Year's resolutions?
Every time somebody asks me to do something, instead of saying no, which I often do, I'm just going to say yes.
I guess my resolution is for me to treat myself inside my own head as compassionately and as positively as I treat my clients verbally through the things that I say. Often during sessions with clients, I find myself saying things that I believe are universally beneficial. Things that people should have heard more often or at all when they were children, that they didn't hear from parents or caregivers or teachers when they were children. So as adults, they now need to hear these very basic fundamental things that are the foundations of a person's self-esteem and confidence. So things like all the good that you wish on others, you also deserve for yourself. Things like you count among the rest of humanity. You're not somehow separate from everybody else, where everybody else is deserving and you are not. You're not somehow too different or other than other people. People have much more in common than they have differences. That people have the same kinds of needs, the same kinds of desires. In the big picture, they care about the same kinds of things.
Anything in terms of like going out, because I will generally just stay home and watch TV.
Well,
Are you going to get any pets this year? Any new pets?
I've thought about getting my cat robot a kitten. Because he's very sweet. He's also obviously getting old. He's not old, but he's not kittenish any longer. Now he's very placid, he's very calm, and I'm thinking that if I got him a kitten, it might make his life a bit more interesting. So Zandria, what are you grateful for at this time of year?
For my family, getting to spend time with my family. I love buying gifts for other people.
Well, I think that's very much in keeping with the holiday spirit.
What are you grateful for?
Grateful for all of my clients. And I'm not just saying that, because without my clients, I wouldn't have a practice. I wouldn't have any of it without my clients. So thanks for joining us. Again, I'm Luke Chow from the Morpheus Clinic for Hypnosis.
And I'm Zandria, Sarah then, and happy holidays.
Happy holidays.